Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is the 22nd? Hold on. I can't see because of the sun. It's at the 23rd. The 23rd, sorry. Today is the 23rd. I know what day it is. It's a Sunday. I'm out here next to my office by the back door or the side door. And it's really hot and muggy, unfortunately. But it is what it is, right? Nothing's on fire here, so I can't really complain. We had some rain yesterday, which has the plants are very happy, but of course it increases the humidity. But it's all right. So today, because it's a beautiful Sunday, I thought, well, how could I relax? I thought, well, let's look at the GOP. What? I want to look at the upcoming convention, and then I'm going to ask specifically about certain people who are running, and I don't have a full sort of like a full list of the people running, but I'm thinking I want to look at Lindsey Graham, and I want to look at Mitch McConnell, right? And maybe Susan Collins as they approach November. All right. Oh, and somebody told me that Mitch McConnell is not going to be at the GOP, at the Republican convention. That's interesting. I'm not sure. I don't know. Last year, the Republican convention. Last year, the last time we had a Republican convention, it was dystopia. It was Trump's dystopia, and I'm like, there's no way. That's like, what an awful vision of the future. And then we got it. So. And today, and the Democratic was, what a beautiful vision of the future. And so perhaps it's time for that, right? But let's look at the GOP. Let's look at their convention. I'm going to do a Celtic cross on it. Okay, so the first card we get is the Magician card. The Magician card. Crossed by the Two of Wands. Okay, so the Magician card is a card about control. It's a card about focus. It's a card about utilizing all the tools at your disposal to create sort of a cohesive, concentrated focus. And what's crossing it is the Two of Wands. And in this deck, the Two of Wands actually cross each other as opposed to other decks. And it's almost like, I feel like it's blocking. There's a block here. And I think what the block is that there's definitely two sides to the Republican Party. There's the Trump side and there's the Lincoln Project side, right? The side that wants to see Trump out. And so the ability to focus and come up with sort of a cohesive energy or a cohesive story, perhaps, is because of these two sort of sectors that are at cross purposes with one another. I feel like there's a block to that. Okay, let's look at what's at the root of this. Okay, so we have alchemy at the root. This is the Temperance card. I feel like at the root of this is a need to balance. I feel like the Republicans have been on the Trump side that this is sort of a correction. This is sort of a correction. Okay, let's see what's in the past. Okay, we have the Sun in the past. This could be the illumination around the Trump administration that's occurring at this time. The past is what, 2 minutes ago or yesterday, but this could also be Their day in the sun. They've had their day in the sun, and that's in the past. Let's see what's in the sky. Okay, we have the Two of Stones. This is harmony. It's funny. This card is called Harmony, but I almost feel when I look at it, I feel like the stone that's above at any time could come crashing down on the stone that's below. So while this card says harmony, it doesn't feel very harmonic to me. It actually feels kind of scary, like in the old cartoons when you'd see like somebody and then they'd have an anvil over their head and then they'd show you the rope as the fibers of the rope start to ping, ping, ping. Well, that's what it feels like to me. There's also the part of the Republican Party that's grounded, right? That would be probably the Lincoln people, the Lincoln Project people. And then there are the ones that are sort of floating up in the air, living in the Trump Wonderland. Not a particularly stable and a dangerous place to be underneath. So the Trump, which says to me that the Trump faction can just wipe the whole thing out if they, what I'm saying, if it comes down, they're gonna take some of the Lincoln people with them. Okay, so in the immediate future, we have the Son of Wands, or the Prince of Wands, which is Krishna. So the Son of Wands is generally about going on a journey, going on an adventure, moving forward. Let's see what Krishna says here. Just give me a second. I'm still the cards speak to me except for the court cards here, and I always want to make sure that I see what. Okay, love of life, interest in the arts, trickster. The trickster. Says the blue halo of Krishna symbolizes the eye of the peacock feather. Krishna's flute music brings divine mind into physical reality. So there's a little trickster energy with Krishna. I didn't realize that. So we'll say they're going to be making music. They're going to be making music at this. Make your own kind of music. Sing your own special song. Make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. Isn't that interesting? How it's seen from the outside. Star, trying to come up with a vision. The domestic situation. The Ace of Swords. This is the sword of justice. It's the element of wind. It's precariously balanced upon this hill. Hopes and fears. Spider Woman, Mother of Stones, the Queen of Stones. The mothers or the queens in the deck are the sustainers of the element, and stone is, of course, physical, money, substance. So I feel like they hope that they can still get the backing, the financial backing, or perhaps they fear that they won't. Outcome, we have the victory card. The Six of Wands. The victory card. So there's this sense of victory, but victory at what cost? That generally that card is about. It's interesting because in Kabbalah that card is the 32-5 vibration, which is the path of the United States and the shadow of the United States. So it's around the issue of freedom and the cost of that freedom. It's about the fact that you need to act responsibly in order to have freedom. And I quite frankly don't know how responsible the Republicans have been. These are pretty positive cards for a group of people who have just been terrible at their job, just terrible. Okay, let's see what else comes up. See if we can get a major arcana. We have the Hierophant, which is government. All right. And then at the root, at the bottom, we have the Four of Cups, which is called mixed happiness. So it's not a complete success, but it's also not a complete failure. So I think a lot of us are expecting disaster, but I don't think disaster is going to befall them. I think that they might be able to swing it in such a way that it doesn't seem like quite the disaster that it could potentially be. One of the things that the Republicans do know how to do is to they generally don't split themselves, which is very interesting, that this card would be the first card to come up. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like they're going to let Trump do his thing, and there's going to be all the regalia and all the people he wants and all the weirdness and all the terrible, just topic stuff. That's gonna happen, and then that's, I think, why somebody like Mitch McConnell may not go, because while they allow the president to do his thing, they don't necessarily want to be connected to it. So I feel like I think that the sense of victory that they're trying that comes up around this is going to be a victory of Trump, maybe not blowing the whole thing up, but not necessarily all of the Republicans are in his corner anymore. So let's look at, we're going to look at Lindsey Graham. Oh, I was looking for that check. Just found a check I was looking for. I'm glad I opened this box. Here's just for, future. Don't put stuff in boxes like this, because that check it isn't a year old, but it could be a year old, right? So, woo, money. Okay. All right. So, this is for Lindsey Graham. How is Lindsey Graham going to do in his in November? Well, he actually has a primary. No, he doesn't. In November, right? Because he doesn't have a primary guy. He just has the Democrat that's going against him. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. But I know that he is pretty well thought of. Yeah, he's a black man who's very, who a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about. So, I think being a black man in politics is very much like being a woman in anything. You kind of have to be much better and work harder. And it's still not a guarantee that you're going to do well, because there's that sort of inbred or innate, old boys club, old white boys club, that, black men, black women, women of any stripe, or actually men of any stripe, really, have to get in. Have to sort of break the ceiling, break the old white man's ceiling. And certainly Barack Obama broke the old white man's ceiling. And then we got Trump. So there's always like a backlash. That happened after Reconstruction, too. Happened after the Civil War. All right. Is it Reconstruction, I think? Yeah. Okay. So this is for Lindsey Graham in November. We have the Two of Swords. So we're at a stalemate. So right now, we're at a place where a decision hasn't been made. That things are sort of crossed. Let's see what's crossing that. the victory card. So there's it says to me that the decision um, is not as clear cut as we might think. At the root, yeah, okay, we have the devil. So this is him chained to Trump. Trump is the devil. So at the root here, a victory that would have normally been very easy for him to have um, is not easy now. It's a struggle. See what's in the past. Okay, we have the King of Cups. This is a lot of times it's Joe Biden, right? The King of Cups, because Joe is a Scorpio. But this vibration is Trump's shadow vibration in Kabbalah, the 37-1 vibration, the inability to see beyond his own nose, the inability to have any kind of intuition, empathy, walking in somebody else's moccasins. He's not able to do it. He is completely incapable of that. All right, see what's in the sky. So we have struggle, and yeah. So there's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of struggle. The thing about Lindsey Graham is I don't feel like well, he kind of changes. Whatever he has to do, he'll change and go in that direction. It seems. Like, I don't feel like he has a compass, like this is what's right and this is the way we're going to go about it. I think there's an opportunistic energy about him. And so I think that as easily as he went into the Trump camp, if he needed to, he could go back into the Republican camp. Now, whether or not they would accept that or whatever, but I think his connection to Trump doesn't have anything to do with what he really believes, right? So he could sort of sway. So it's like, while the sort of Lincoln, I'm calling them the Lincoln Project Republicans, but just like maybe the Republicans with some sanity left in their gene, in their vibration. I think that while they point Lindsey Graham as being somebody who's Trump's puppy dog, I guess, that if Trump's out and Lindsey Graham is in, I think they know they can work with Lindsey Graham if they have to. So it's not like, it's not like that, because he's just such a fair weather friend. Okay, so in the future so he has a lot of burdens. So his rise to success is fraud. Okay, he's got a lot of stuff that he has to answer for. How it's seen from the outside. This guy is dancing on slippery rocks next to a tumultuous ocean. He is not in a good place. He is dancing for his life, and at any moment, his feet can come out from under him. Or what if a wave comes? A wave. What is that wave? That wave could be COVID. That wave could be just the sentiment of the country. Okay. Domestic situation. Oh my God, these are terrible. Bankruptcy. Getting kicked out. Getting the door like slammed in his face. Hopes and fears. Okay, waiting for his ship to come in. Somehow he seems to be waiting for reinforcements. His hope is that he'll get them. Maybe his fear is that they'll never show up. See the outcome. And he gets the star card. So there's still hope. Isn't that weird? So let's just say this is going to be the fight of his life when it comes to winning. And but we do get the star card at the end, so there's still hope. There's hope that he could still pull it off. Okay, and underneath it we get the Princess of Cups. We get the Princess of Cups. Oh, where is she? Oh, there she is. I'm backwards. You'll have to excuse me. And the Four of Wands. And Trump. I think if Trump leaves before the election, like I've never really seen him do his first term. And many other psychics have also never seen him do his first term, like finish it. Cash Peters always sees like a plane waiting for him. But he does have a choice. He may go through with it. Trump may go through with it. So this is going to be um, his hardest journey. But there's still hope at the end that he could win. So I can't say like all the cards were like, no, there's no way, and then at the end we get the hope card. So there's still a chance, and that's probably only because South Carolina um, is a red state, right? And the blues in South Carolina are mostly people of color, and we always have to, when you're dealing with people of color, you always have to deal with voter suppression. So it could very well be the voter suppression that gets him in. All right, let's look at, oh God, what's his name? Mitch McConnell. Let's look at the Grim Reaper, folks. I did a reading on him a long time ago, and I think it said, I'd have to look back. I can't, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And I know I've heard people talking about his wife getting into trouble. What is she? Is she transportation secretary or something? Sorry about the sunlight here. I don't know if I can. I mean, maybe you don't mind, but not very clear. It's a little better, right? You know what it is? I think it's where my computer is sitting. Let me try to move it a little. Make it a little better view. Not so you can see me necessarily. Sorry about this. Maybe so you can see the cards a little better. I should have probably just done this inside, but if I can be outside, even though it's hot and muggy, I prefer to be outside. As long as I'm not doing yard work like I was doing yesterday, it's not so bad. All right. Let's see what we got here. So this is Mitch McConnell. How is Mitch McConnell going to fare? Mitch McConnell going to fare in his bid for senator? Mitch McConnell. Oh wow. That's interesting. That says to me that he doesn't really have any control over the situation. He's just going to have to sit back and observe. And wherever he can do something, he's going to do it. He's pretty savvy guy. He's a jerk, but he's a savvy jerk. Smart guy. Just so just so dysfunctional. I mean, it's been so dysfunctional for so long now. It's hard to remember when it was functional. I mean, we actually had an opportunity to do some really good things with Obama, but the Republicans just wouldn't give in an inch. Wouldn't give in an inch. Those MFs. Sorry. Did I say that out loud? Okay. Mitch McConnell. Okay, we have the Prince of Wands here, rearing up, making a big show, but not really moving forward. So he's sort of staying put, but he's still like waving the flag and making a fuss. Okay, see what's crossing that? Okay, we have the Queen of Swords. the woman that he's going against is, I don't know what sign she is, and I can't think of her name right now. McGrath, I think. Um, swords always says to me the military, right? Swords have to do with the military. This could very well be her. Very well be her. So can he go forward? The Queen of Swords is sitting there saying, I have the sword, buddy. I have the sword of truth on my side, buddy. Okay, so what's at the root? This is information coming in. This really sort of harkens back to the Hanged Man card. There's all this stuff coming in, all the shenanigans, all the bull dinky of Trump and all the terrible and illegal things that he's done. And, Mitch McConnell was enabler in charge. And so as these things come in, he has all but he can do to just sort of hang out and see what's going to happen and where he can do some damage control. Let's see what's in the past. We have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a sense that his work hadn't been completely done. There's a sense of not getting all the work done. It's very possible that he could have offered Trump some sort of exit plan. If you just leave now and we can maybe what's that, cut our losses, that kind of energy. But Trump wasn't going for it. Let's see what's in the sky. Okay, the moon. That's a lot of emotional ups and downs. It's also things hidden from view. See the immediate future. The Hermit. So this is him staying away, staying away from the ruckus. How it's seen from the outside. Yep. Again, we have the same card. His connection to Trump being the chain around his neck. Domestic situation. Okay, not looking good for him either. If we get the same four cards with the hope card at the end, I'm going to scream. Hopes and fears. Oh, the Fool. Well, definitely change, right? So I would say he fears that because then he won't be in charge, right? So even if he wins, and say the Democrats take the Senate, and he's going to be powerless, just going to be sitting there. At that point, it might be worth just not doing anything and just trying to work on how he's going to keep himself or his wife out of jail. I don't think he's going to go into jail, but his wife, there could definitely be a chink in their financial picture with all the legal stuff that's probably going to come down. And outcome, we have the Ace of Wands. Endings and beginnings. Interesting. So I say endings because the Ace of Wands is a 27-9 vibration. And so it's like God taketh and God giveth. So there is this sense of transformation and going from one situation to another. Let's continue and see if we can get a major arcana. We have the 10 of Cups, which is happiness. 2 of Pentacles. Lindsey Graham got that one. And the Hierophant. So, again, they're in the same situation in a lot of ways, in that they are tied hook, line, and sinker to Trump. Now, Lindsey Graham is going to do the jig, and he's going to run around, and he's going to be very active as he tries to dodge and weave and bob and all that stuff. And he still has the hope that he's going to win. McConnell is just hiding out and stepping back and saying, let's see where everything falls. And as the Hierophant, as the last card here that was pulled, I always pull at least three cards to see if we can get a major arcana. I feel as though he may stay in Congress. I mean, the Senate. No, but we have going to calmer waters. So I think he might win, but then I think he might leave. I think he might leave. That's what it looks like. And I think when they do that, they just put a different senator and they'll just put a different Republican in, right? So they won't lose the fact that that seat is red, but it just won't be Mitch McConnell. I feel like if he doesn't have power, he's not really interested. If he can't be a power player, what's the point of being there? He might as well retire, right? That's what it feels like to me. All right, so let's look at Susan Collins. Well, these seem to be pretty lucky for the Republicans. I don't know if that's good or bad, but let's see the chance of Susan Collins winning. Now, Susan Collins is in a whole different sort of position. First of all, Maine is not a southern state. Maine is very independent. Uh, independent, maybe a tad libertarian, and maybe more on the Democratic side. Maine's kind of an interesting place. I think more than anything, and I could be wrong about this, and this is just what's coming through to me, is that Maine is a state that if she's helped the Mainers, then maybe she has a chance. But if she hasn't helped the Mainers, and she's, been the person always sort of like tipping the scales in Trump's favor, that might actually hurt her. I'm not, maybe I should be more aware of that. But let's see what the cards say, because sometimes being aware of the real political ramifications aren't really a help when it comes to reading cards. Sometimes you just got to read them. All right, Susan Collins. And the other thing is that she's a woman. And women held accountable, I think, a lot more than men, generally. Like, if they mess up, they're like, oh, woman messed up. That could be my own bias. But like I said, when you're a woman, you have to work twice as hard, and you generally make half as much. Okay. And you have to be have a lot of integrity. These guys have no integrity, and it doesn't seem to matter. A woman loses her integrity, it's like, you're done. We have the sun, so we have an illumination. And it's interesting because in this deck, the sun card looks a little like, see the face in the sun looks a little like a young Donald Trump. It's kind of scary. Crossed by, the Wheel of Fortune. So fate is going to step in for her. Uh-oh. Tower at the root. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Susan Collins. We have the King of Wands in the past. King of Wands in the past. In the sky. Yeah, turning your back. So she's leaving. She's definitely leaving. Well, that's the energy anyway. We have the alchemist here, or the magician in the immediate future. She's going to try to marshal her forces. She's not going to go down without a fight. How it's seen from the outside. We have the Empress. I feel like she's seen as a woman who has turned her back on women because of her Kavanaugh thing. I think that really hurt her. And maybe even more so than that is the whole thing about saying that Trump learned his lesson. No, he learned that he can get away with anything. So if he actually does get in, we're really screwed. Domestic situation. Death. Yeah, she's gone. Hopes and fears, the Princess of Pentacles. She hopes that she can remain. She still has a hold, but it's just a page. It's just a page. So, and the outcome, the Five of Wands, chaos. Seven of Wands. We're just picking for a major arcana. The Princess of Cups. And the Queen of Wands reversed. Eight of Swords. Yeah, she's done for. So Susan is out. I think McConnell is still in, but then I think he's going to leave. And Lindsey Graham, there's a chance he'll stay in, but only because he's such a duplicitous guy that whoever is in power, he will, do his best to sort of do what he needs to do, kind of thing. Like when it was sort of McCain's, when it was more of McCain's, well, not completely McCain's party. He was with McCain, and when it was Trump's party, he was with Trump. So he I don't know what sign he is. Sign Lindsey Graham is. I don't remember. It's like he's a fair weather friend. He's a fair weather friend. That I think can convince himself. But yeah, I think this whole Trump thing has been very detrimental to him. Very detrimental. All right, was there anybody else I can think of that we want to do? Not on the Republican side. I do have a couple of Democratic people I want to see how they do. So I think I might do that in a different video. All right, guys, so that's what it looks like. The actual thing is going to be Trump-palooza. The Republicans who don't necessarily agree with him are going to sort of step back, although I think the Lincoln Project's going to be up there. McConnell is going to just sort of try to scurry back into and see what happens, see where everything falls, see what kind of information comes up and what kind of damage control he's going to do. Lindsey Graham's going to do the jig, and Susan Collin's out. Okay, that's what I see. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care.